Hello, welcome back to Kaiserreich. I also just noticed, or just remembered, I mean, that I've forgotten to tell you something. It's nothing terribly important, but I did want to share it either way because I think it's kind of cool. Excuse me, I had to clear my throat. I, along with a handful of others, have been put on the official Kaiserreich Norwegian translation. So currently I'm working on translating the like the loading screen tips that you see at the bottom of the screen when you're loading in, which is kind of challenging because they contain a lot of expressions and idioms and stuff that you would have to, you know, localize into Norwegian and try to like express into Norwegian. For example, Huey Long's very like folksy, like very southern way of speeching. You got to figure out a way to, or speeching, what the fuck am I saying, speaking. You got to figure out a way to like translate that, which is challenging, but it's fun. And I wanted to call attention to the translation because I believe they still need help. So if you do speak Norwegian, which I know a handful of people who watch these videos do, and you believe that you have the skills and the ability to actually help out with a translation like that, then you should probably head by the Kaiserreich Discord and lend your aid. I believe they also are working on Danish and Swedish stuff, but I'm not quite sure. It's like a Scandinavian translation Discord that I've made. So you go to the Kaiserreich Discord and then look at the announcement and then get, you know, the information you need there to figure out who you need to contact. Let's see, do we have what we need here now? Oh, by the way, also, let's see here, we got a suggestion that we should mine up the Baltic. And it is not a bad idea. I'll just set them to do that and leave them be. After they're done mining, I might start actually raiding over there as well. But I also should say I've announced this in the Discord, but I should mention it here as well. I am at some point going to be traveling, and of course I'm doing a backlog because of that. I think I mentioned that I'm traveling to Trondheim last episode, but either way, I'm doing the backlog, so if you come with suggestions, sometimes they might not actually come through, and for that I apologize. Just gotta put that out there every now and then, so people know. I will still read all of them though. And the announcement, or the suggestion for mining the Baltic, that came a few episodes ago, and I have not been able to respond to it until... It still is very interesting that we've been able to capture half of France and also push further into Italy. Not something I thought I would see happening. And we have liberated parts, at least, of India. We still hold Ceylon, which is very important because that allows us to continually naval invade. And how are the Japanese doing? They're still at war, but it's sort of come to a standstill at the 38th parallel, which is oddly fitting, honestly. With the Chinese and the South Koreans and the Japanese. Well, Korean troops serving in the Japanese army, I would assume. Imperial Japanese Army, IGA. Or RJA. Let's try again. it's not working. Call it off. Don't waste any more troops than necessary. So we still have that one division sitting back here. We'll ship them over to Bilbao as well. Trying to think where our troops would be best suited. At the moment, we are kind of not doing anything here in Spain. And it's mostly due to all these mountains and all these rivers, which create a very, very fitting natural border here. So I think maybe it might be an idea. Obviously, we can't help the two Sicilies, but it might be an idea to find a different front to latch onto. Possibly the French, in order to try to push for a liberation, a full liberation, a capitulation of France, which could potentially, if we're lucky, make this stuff a lot easier. Like, I see a ton of very easy pockets, or easy bulges, sorry, to attack. This one, of course, is not easy because of the rivers and stuff, which is probably why it's still holding, but this one, for example, and this one, those are both very easy bulges to take. Let's see if we can just rush a bunch of troops over there. Oh, never mind. The moment we do that, they try to attack. Of course, it's going to fail miserably, but they're trying at least. They have significant reserves standing by, though, so they're not actually like overexerting themselves. If we actually had the Marines still, we could put them on this river here and try to cross the river, which would create a like the baseline for a full crossing. Actually, once these guys move out of once these guys move out, what the fuck? Once these guys move out of this province or this tile, we might be able to cross over here. Let's see, do we have anything else moving in? We do not. So once that single unit there moves out, we'll try to cross, because they're only going to have beleaguered Soviet and possibly Ukrainian troops holding on. Can you actually see when they're gonna arrive? I don't think so. Oh, next X amount of hours. Never mind, we attack before they leave. There we go. In fact, we might even be able to cross over here. Let's try. In the meantime, they're actually... So the Indians and stuff are attacking, which means we should probably support them, because it's the only way we're going to actually have them on our side, because the AI doesn't support you, you have to support them, and most of the time. Alright, it worked, and we even got 2 provinces, or 2 tiles, which means that we can't get just completely bulge fucked over here. Which is the fear when you try to push across in one province, because you get 4 provinces adjacent to yours. Depending on the province, of course. Or the tile. I keep calling them provinces. They're, I don't know if they are provinces. So these are states. Like, a region is a state, and then... I don't know, maybe they are provinces? Who knows? You probably do. In which case, please tell me. And of course, I will not be able to rectify my behavior until maybe 2 or 3 episodes from now. I'm hoping for the Ottomans to finally take that, oh, we're lagging a bit. That's a peace, this is a peace deal, I think. Or not. I'm hoping that the Ottomans will finally take the Liberate Batumi thing, because they shouldn't have any, like, anything at all preventing them. So they, the only reason they haven't taken that is probably because they're doing other focuses. Alright, we gotta wait for that sweet organization to come back, at which point I think we're gonna keep pushing on this bulge here, try to push heavily out this way, and then potentially start to collapse inwards on the Portuguese coast. And try to achieve a couple of tactical encirclements, some small scale ones. Let's split this in half. Send some of it down here, and then let's attack this point from multiple directions here. In fact, let us begin already, so they don't have time to regain their organization. I wish it was easier to not select the divisions I don't want to select. In a moment, these guys will assist. Here we go. It's not working. Or is it? Possibly. In the meantime, we've gained a lot of organization, which means we could... Let's see, we could in theory, so we could push into Salamanca once these guys are done attacking us, because they're all low on organization and they only have one mountain and one infantry division, and these are not mountains. Or... This is a very not Norwegian song, but that's because this whole thing is gonna bug now because of, you know, the 1.7 thing. I think maybe we should go for this bulge here, or we should push for this and further and like bulgeify our bulge here. My bulge, don't ever say that again, Fredda. Or we could fuck, I'm being indecisive here. There's way too many troops here. Yeah, they're moving troops in here. It's going to be hard, so I should probably send troops over this way and try to help out for a push at Salamanca. Get a wider front across the river, which will help the AI make decisions. That is my plan. Are we still repairing it, by the way? Yes, we are. We probably don't even need this Navarro bullshit anymore. The Bilbao naval base. Fairly useless at this point. We gotta get that infrastructure back up. I'll try to play around with the equipment conversion at some point. I haven't really done it after Waking the Tiger drop, in which that feature came. Because I got Waking the Tiger kind of late. So I never really like delved into that stuff. Alright, we should have enough now. Well, we should have more than enough. And these two are currently not actually being very useful, so I'll send them over here and have them ready for an assault from multiple directions on this province here. Or that tile, rather. Which is also plains, which is great for attackers. I honestly don't want to build any naval stuff, because the naval battle is... it feels like it's all but over. The French commune, like the Communard fleet, is still in existence, but it's so beaten, or so like so worn and weathered, that I struggle to see any sort of strategic impact that it will have on the war. Maybe a navy will be a good idea once these guys get involved, if they get involved, which... They've gone down the correct focus path, or focus tree, to get involved. But yeah, once or if they get involved, then a navy might be a good idea. Even so, their navy is going to be so strong, I don't think we can even do anything. I think our raider focus is all well and good. Okay, we gotta take this now. We're gonna wait though until everyone has organization back again. These guys didn't lose a lot of organization, so we can actually try something kind of insane here. They're gonna be able, yeah, they're gonna be fighting, which means we. That's why I kept the rest for an assist. Sending the tank in first, of course, because that means that they get in before everyone else. They're faster. Gotta pin a bunch of troops here so they don't get over there as well. Which they did, but we did our job. I think we got everything we needed to get done. So they're now actually, yeah, there we go, we got it. Now we're gonna hold it, and then after we're done holding, I think we're gonna try pushing along the river here. That's gonna take us through some hills, but it should be good. Rather that than push over these mountains. We might have to push through the mountains eventually anyways, in which case I'll have to pull the mountain divisions over from here. But speaking of here, this is ready now. You heard me say this plenty of times before, but it still rings true. Whenever you're trying to achieve any sort of strategic objective, never do anything but focus solely on the objective. Everything else is secondary. You gotta, like, focus on achieving the goal and then have everything surrounding it just be as good as it has to be. So for this, the line only has to be as good as it has to be, and then everything else on the point where we're trying to achieve an objective has to be better than, you know, that. So mass your troops in where you're trying to make the breakthrough, and keep them sort of limited where you're trying to just hold. Well, let's see here. We should be able to no, that's actually 6. Yeah, it was obscured. We should maybe then be able to take these guys. Cause a very limited encirclement, but it's an encirclement nonetheless. I'm not even going to wait until that beleaguered division gets out of there, because it's going to get beaten so fast that it's going to retreat anyways. Oh my god, the lag. This song reminds me a little bit of the soundtrack for Band of Brothers. Which, if you haven't seen Band of Brothers, as a person watching a World War II history video game, well, right now alternate history, but still, you are missing out. You gotta watch Band of Brothers. It's an amazing television show, and it's an extremely accurate depiction of all of the war. Extremely accurate and extremely somber, and also we are getting our asses kicked. And there's not very much we can do about it. Where the fuck are the... I think the Bilbao guy arrived, yeah. He's over here. Huh. I don't attack into the mountains still, so this frontier seems kind of dead. I think the idea should be to shift ourselves down to the west now. Say goodbye to the mountains. and then focus on the objective in the west. Surely this is gonna fall. Yeah. There we go. That's fine though. At least unless we lose, if we lose any of this stuff, then it's not fine. Also, apologies for my my voice right now. You know how it be. I need to zoom out every now and then so that I don't lose perspective of the tactical, or sorry, the strategic situation, as is what happened with you know, India and whatnot. Very easy to do so when you're just laser focused on one thing. Okay, let's try this again. Let's keep some troops over here as a reserve in order to actually attack this point. Very important, because we gotta pin them once we actually take this. Can you tell that I'm nervous about this? Very nervous about the USSA. Right, if this is not massing your troops in one place, I don't know what is. If this is not Schwerpunkt, then I don't know what is. Hold a bunch of them and keep them in aid. Control right click on the battle, as always, and then I'm going to attack these guys the moment the encirclement is over, or like the moment the encirclement is fact. In fact, I'm going to hold one here as well for that attack, so that we can attack from all directions. Directions. What the fuck is my brain? I think I got the bad case of the YouTuber brain, where you just speak so much that your brain stops, you know, analyzing. It just wants to get the words out there. Oh my god, what the fuck is this? Oh, this is like an excellent... The AI just made a genius move, where they pinned the large army so that the smaller one got pushed in, but it wasn't enough. And they're going to attack now, which means we attack them. Tank once again driven off as expected. Right, there we go. Encirclement done. Now, before they have a chance to react, let's move on the next one. I'm holding these guys here in order to take this province, or this tile. Actually going quite well. And the enemy is attacking across the line. They're not actually seeing any success at all. The Danish and the Swedish got pushed right across the Kiel Canal again, but that's fine. That's where we want them. We don't want our brothers in arms here to lose any more men than they have to. Kära bror, as we call each other in Norwegian, Norwegian, Danish, and Swedish, though of course it changes with the language, but it's something like that. Kära bror means sweet brother, or a dear brother, or dearest brother. You also have, you know, all kinds of other ways of referring to the Swedes and the Danish, which are less flattering. They have those for us as well, though. That's bait. I really want to take that, but we don't have the organization to really push too heavily. I'll maybe try to push the mountain division in. I'm extremely wary of opening myself to an encirclement again, as I've done in the past. Never actually been fully encircled as far as I can remember in this campaign, but I've been open to several at several points. Once these guys move out of this division, this province or region, will attack as well. Time for you to hold, get that organization back so we can fight. I think I'm satisfied now. Let's attack. Let's withhold those two, and let us withhold pretty much everything except for the tank, which of course is integral to any assault like this. I've learned my lesson that I want to move in troops from two different directions every time, because sometimes they get pinned by the enemy and then you have like a weaker force in the tile that you have taken. Also, we're at 29 minutes already. 29 minutes. Holy shit, my brain is signaling strongly that it is time to stop recording. And so is the timer, which is now at 30 minutes. So, I want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking with this incredibly long playthrough. Probably the longest one I've ever done, and might be the longest one I'll ever do, unless I, you know, start playing something like fucking Binding of Isaac and making 1,000 episodes of that. Like some YouTubers do. No diss. I love those YouTubers. So, thank you so much for watching. If you'd like, you can reach me on social media, following the Twitter and Discord links in the description down below, and you can also support me on Patreon for $1 and above. There's only one tier. It's very egalitarian. It's very lazy of me. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.